What's up, everybody? Berserker Bear coming to you for another edition of Bushwhacking Tartaria. Picture edition, Patagonia, and Patagons, which are giants. I'm going to try to make the case to blow the mainstream out of the water for what they say Patagons are. And we're going to go through an old book, pictures of an old book called The Great Explorers, the European Discovery of America. That's what we're going to be going over, and we're going to go over Patagons as well. And again, I'm going to make the case that Patagon giants are not mythical, and we're going to go over and reference books that you can go over as well. I'll show you what I'm doing here in MeWe, our research thread. Okay, we like to call it the Autodidactic Realm Earth Research Group. We've been over this last time. That's where you can find us, and that's where you can contribute to this research. We'd love to have you. Please come by and say hello and contribute. Try to find the true timeline of this realm. That's the aim. Mission statement is right at the eye here. Click it. There you go. You can pause it and read that. Please stop by. A profile is required. So, Patagon, mythical race of people who first began to appear early European accounts of the then little known region, coastline, Patagonia. Patagonia is the southern tip of South America. It actually encompasses, or it includes Argentina and Chile. Let's actually get a look. Here you go. There you go, right here. That's Patagonia for you. And Patagonia means the land of the giants, and I'll get back to that at the as we get into this. So what we're going to do is we're going to go through this book right here, and I am in archive.org for your reference, and I went through this book, and we got some pictures to show you, and I have some insight and my own opinions. So let's get at it. Okay, here are the pictures that I got here. Obviously, that's what we're talking about. Now, this goes, the Great Explorers actually goes down to the list of chronologically the explorers that set sail from Europe, commissioned by the kings and the monarchs. Right? You can get into that and research that on your own, the chronological list of explorers from Drake to Magellan. Magellan to Drake Magellan was first, I believe. I just went over it in this, and my mind's racing right now, so I apologize. You can look this up by yourself. Again, this is a list of chronological order of the explorers from Europe commissioned by the monarchs to go explore the quote-unquote New World, and a history of their account. So we get pictures like this, mud flood, old world-esque pictures. The big Spanish galleons. I believe this says that they're departing English territory. You got the beautiful castles here. This is all in this book. You can reference in this book right there, archive.org. Anybody could look this up. That's why I'm not going to go into detail about this. I just pulled some cool pictures out. Interesting take I had here. This would be Londinium, excuse me. Old London here. Okay, and this thing this thing kind of reminds me, look at how this build out was back in the day. And look at all these steeples here. Not really what we're going to get into in this one, but that bridge reminded me of this. Old Dresden Bridge. Where is pictures? Here we go. Okay, take a look. Notice this bridge. I think this is a picture of Dresden prior to the raising of it. God bless that city. You see how these piers are absolutely massive. It looks like it's to support something bigger, obviously bigger than this road. You wouldn't build huge piers like this. And I'm not a architect or engineer, but it seems to me that what was on here previously was probably something akin to this. You know, this is London, that's Dresden. They're not in the same region, but they're Europe, old Europe, in UK. I guess England wouldn't be considered Europe, or I don't consider it to be Europe. I consider it to be UK. But look, I mean, this is what I'm talking about. There was probably huge buildings on those bridges like that. So yeah, you go through this book and you see stuff like this. I think this is interesting. This is what these guys are probably doing back in the day, going through stuff like this. Look at that. Imagine doing that. It's like some straight out of Pirates of the Caribbean type stuff. Look at the old city build-outs here. Just absolutely impeccable. Now, what I want to start getting into, obviously, we're going to look at anytime you got build-out like this in a city, it interests me. And then you have the title right down here, 1526, guys. Build out like that. The old world. And what is this? What's going on here? Big theater? My word. So I'm kind of going chronologically down through that book in pictures, effectively, is what I'm doing here. Capture 7. Lost my place there, guys. Sorry about that. Oh, look at that guy. Great Explorers, Capture 7. There we were. Sorry about that. Look at this. I mean, look at the build out. You know, we go through all this, but I'm not, this is not the, but just look at this. My word. A lighthouse. Allegedly, we're build out like that for a lighthouse. I really recommend looking through this book, everybody. It goes down through all this stuff and where we went. Now, what's interesting here was why I wanted to take this one is Roanoke. There's definitely some gravy there. What happened to the lost civilization of Roanoke? A lot of gravy there. This was interesting too. Hochelaga. I remember it as being like an Indian settlement type of deal, but what's going on here? I mean, I just look at this stuff and it's like, I mean, wow. Especially at the time period too. And I love these huge landscape depictions. Of course, they're definitely stylized, or they're made to be extra, I mean, I forget the word. They're showing, boy, what's that word? Where it's making it more big so you can see it. Sorry, I can't pull that word up at the top of my head. Oh yeah, that's the key for this thing. So you can, if you want to go down through this, there is a key here. I'm going to pause that. Hochelaga. Hochelaga. Interesting, very interesting. Build out Seville in the early XVI century. America, Madrid. Just interesting. Yeah, I would follow this chronologically. There goes another bridge with a massive bridge. Is this a picture or a painting? I mean, it almost looks like a picture. Interesting. Here's interesting too. Now you got Africa over here. And you got a longitude and then a latitude. And this is, I mean, I don't know. This is Africa, Spain. You would think that over here. Now, what is this, the Caribbean? But it's saying Indy. Is that what they were thinking where they were going to come over and find? I don't understand this. And then you look up here. Tataria. We see it everywhere, guys. I mean, what's going on with this? So Africa, some of these maps are flipped upside down, north to south, but not this one. Spain and Africa. Is this what they were projecting to find over there? Because it says Indi Superiora, like Oceania, like New Guinea over there. I'm not sure. This is confusing. Course of Columbus's fleet. Here we get into Columbus. This was interesting here. This little pinnacle right there. I have no idea what that is. That caught my eye though. That's for sure. I'm not sure what that is. Santa Maria Harbor, Long Island, David Crowfoot. But it says Puerto Santa Maria Harbor, Long Island. Renaming of names. Western Puerto Rico. Okay, this is cool. This is where I thought it was. That's why I got this one. There's Columbus's fleet. So Columbus never, when he went to the New World, never went up into North America. He was only in the Caribbean. It's always interesting. And I like to see if there's any star forts around here, any citadels that they label, but they probably never would, because they would never admit the fact that they can build something so grandiose here in the New World, because they were the civilized ones, right? I have serious questions about that. I always thought this was cool. This is the Santa Maria, diagram of the Santa Maria, Spanish galleon. Look at that. Look at that. It's all about flags, everybody. It is all about flags. Very, very interesting. And the synchronicity continues. Does it ever? Thought that was cool. Definitely a navigational instrument of maritime theater. So the dude using it, how they used it amongst the Antiquitech. Okay, here we go. 1628. And of course, sun worship. You got, what is this here? Symbolism. This looks like a diagram of the flat. Who knows? I can't even say that. Just interesting. That's what I'm talking about. A lot of these some of these old maps, I mean, literally are illegible, but you could just tell that there was just something going on there. Here goes a smaller city. You got the steeples there, and here goes what will look to be a bigger one. I believe we're still in the. Oh, here we go. Baramida. Yeah, so I think we're in like Bermuda. It looks like it says Bermuda right there. Okay, here's where the gravy gets. Okay. Magellan. See, Magellan came before Drake. And Patagonia. Patagon giants. This is where I'm going to make the case. This is where the gravy starts. You can read that. You could pause it and read this. You see the page that I'm at. And again, I'm pulling from this book right here. We're going over Patagonia, this place, and the great explorers. And we're at Magellan right now, coast of Patagonia. And what does he find here? Now, keep in mind that these are accounts from explorers that are literally funded by the monarchy of, Columbus was Italian, but he was funded by the Spanish. A lot of people don't know that. But he was like vying around all the monarchies in Europe to see who's gonna, hey, I'll go explore for you, but you need to chop out some straight cash. Front me the cash, and I'll go search the realm for you. And the Spanish monarchy is who enlisted Columbus. Anyway, that's Columbus. But here goes, and this is so Magellan was tasked to go around the bottom South Pacific and South Atlantic, I believe. And this is what he came across when he came into Patagonia, land of the giants. And again, I started off by saying that they're tasked by the monarchies to establish and find areas. Now, the mainstream will say, like we went over, that this and the Patagon giants are mythical. Why would someone tasked as to be charting for the monarchs write literally about mythical stuff? I don't buy that for a second, and I really think that they were telling true accounts of what they seen. Hence, why would you endeavor? Now I understand that there's monsters and stuff in here, but you know what? That actually could be true. Okay, now. Patagonian swallowing an arrow. Like you think of, like, the instance that happened, maybe like the Spanish or these guys seen these people, and maybe the first instinct, well, they seen them on the shore, I guess. There's accounts that go and say that they seen them on the shore dancing. We're going to look that up. But then at a certain point, they probably had to get in range with them. And, the Western culture, the first thing you think of, and I hate to say this, I really do, because we're explorers, but, so there's always one dude, right, who's going to pull out the arrow and try to chuck it at these dudes. And this dude probably caught it out of the air, and was just like, ate it, literally. I mean, seriously, you see giants for the first time, obviously there's always going to be one guy in the crew, right, that pulls out the slingshot or whatever, tries to hit him with it. And what do you think that they thought when this dude just like grabbed it out of the air and just ate it, They probably thought it was so significant that they wanted to depict it in the map that they made. Literally, this is how I think. I mean, if you're tasked to chart areas, you're gonna chart what you see. And the mainstream grabble on that is, that was like a ploy to get investors there and to get people to go there to see the Patagons. That doesn't make sense to me. In order to start civilization or whatever. And it's still considered, it doesn't make sense, because Patagonia, what they say is a sparsely populated region. So that whole effort didn't work if it's what they say it is, to try to get people to go down there. So yeah, this is what we're seeing. I mean, like, you have to start, and I have more gravy to show to you. We'll do a little preview right there. And I have that on my timeline in MeWe. We're gonna go over that, but yeah. So this is what I'm trying to say here. This is, the guys got to wake up here. And I really hate to call people out, but these aren't mythical races. Literally, Drake Magellan are talking about them and accounting for them in their travels. And again, I'm gonna lay down another layer here of some what I got, the bookmark, right? There's layered confirmations here, okay? And we can't, like I say, you got to wake up, guys. We can't blow this stuff off and like, oh, that's all mythical. This place, this realm, was way more mythical than we were told. And all you got to do is look this stuff up. It's all there. It is plain sight. Look at it. I mean, this is all free open source here. I created an account, a profile on archive.org, but so did I on Infogalactic, and so did I on MeWe. So do you on Facebook, probably, right? So instead of posting selfies, get out there and do some research. Campbell and I from Autodidactic are going to be going over, we're going to have a call together, and we're going to start hashing out some definitions of what we really truly believe Tartaria is and mud flood. We're going to show you what we do for the research and how you can contribute. So stay tuned for that, because that's in the making right now. Campbell and I are working together again. Campbell set this site up here, Autodidactic. I am the administrator. Please be respectful, but we want you to contribute to the research, guys. And this is what I do. I'm kind of showing you how to do it, and I'm recording this on my phone right now, leaning it up against a paperweight, and on a stack of books. Literally, you guys can do this too, and you guys have it in your backyard, and you guys have this at your fingertips also. We need the research and we need the help, because look at what we're talking about here, guys. This is not mythical. These guys were tasked to chart the realm, the world, and they're not going to lie about it. Going back to talk, because they had to report to the queen or the monarch. Okay. Here you go. I want you guys to be able to read that. This is the excerpt of text that are right around that. Excuse me. I'm sorry. That were right around this area of the book, and I wanted you to read that. I'll zoom in for a second, and then you could pause it. I want to get through this, guys. Giants were real, and they probably are in the mountainous regions. Look at how big that area is, guys. Sparsely populated. You can definitely have a population of giants. Nobody would ever know. Plus, they're probably very smart. I think that they've been blacklisted and smeared. The whole giant thing, and that they're dangerous and nasty creatures. The whole Kandahar giant story. Took on a bunch of soldiers. You look that up from Marzulli, L.A. Marzulli. He's out there. But he did a good in depth on the Kandahar giant. You guys can look that one up. You're welcome. Some super gravy work. Some rangers stumble upon what seemed to be a Nephilim over in Kandahar, Afghanistan. Absolutely nuts. And then it's a layered affirmation here. Magellan to the L.A. Marzulli story about the soldiers coming upon and actually engaging one of these things. To this we're going to get into. Get your popcorn. Still got a little bit of gravy left. So yeah, this is where he left. He went around down here. Look at my cursor over here, sorry. And he went around down here, and this is where we are now, over in this area. And I just think it's important for reference because he sailed around it and then continued heading west. See, so this is the western coast of Chile. Came up and around here, and at about this point, or whatever, all the fellas and all the dudes on the crew and the deckhands were probably like, "Yo, can you believe what we just seen? Giants, Can you believe Donnie tried throwing shooting an arrow at one of them, and he caught it and ate it?" I mean, literally, this is what goes through my mind. And look at this too. This was interesting. It's Tidore really Ternate, a Dutch fleet attacking a Portuguese in early 17th century after De Bry from the Peregrinates in Indian Orient. So I believe that the previous picture is him making his way over to the west. They're now probably in, they called it the Orient, or the Indians are probably in Oceania over there, New Guinea area, Indonesia. I always forget what to call it. But I took this picture. It's because, look, ladies and gentlemen, we have a reset in place. Now this is from 1607, and they have built out steeples in here. Looks like there was a tower, and yeah, we got to burn that one. Look at this citadel over here. Let's go ahead and burn that. What's going on up here? Maybe weather. But yeah, this looks like literally a reset happening, or obviously a pillaging of a thing, and then so goes history. Very interesting. That may have been the last of it. It certainly was. Now let's get into layered synchronicity and how I say that I just get affirmation, sideways confirmation across time, even from things that I looked up before that I remember now that You know, Patagonia, actually, I remember that from watching a Les Stroud Survivor Man episode where he was actually in Patagonia. And he's the one that says that Patagonia, and I remember this from the Les Stroud Survivor Man when it first came out 15 years ago, when he was in Tierra del Fuego. Oh yeah, that's why I wanted to see that picture, because it showed Tierra del Fuego. But anyway, Tierra del Fuego is over here. It's called the Land of Fire, and it's within Patagonia, and that's where Les Stroud was. And I just remember him saying that he's in Patagonia. I always loved that name, and the name sounds good. And then it rung a bell when he said it means the land of the giants. And then so I say across time, now I'm studying this stuff, and it comes up, and I'm like, oh yeah, I remember when Les said that for the first time when he was down in there. That's actually a good episode if you want to look that one up. But yeah, it's a sparsely populated region, but yet the explorers were down there and they seen Patagon giants, and they made accounts of it. Magellan and Drake. And they had to report back to the Queen, but yet mainstream will tell us that it's literally mythical, and they only said that to get population there and get intrigue in the area and have settlements go there and have more people come back there from the old country back home. You know, I remember reading that. I don't know where I read it to bring it back, but let's go over some more layered synchronicity and affirmation across time. This is my MeWe. We'd like you guys to come here and contribute to the story. I mean, all this stuff here, you can just post videos. It's very easy to post videos. It's very easy to post pictures. Hence. So here we go. It's Magellan probably meeting a Patagon. But no, it's just myth. It's just a myth. It's just a myth, right? You know, you're out here doing a serious job exploring the realm, and you're just gonna put stuff out there as misnomers. I absolutely don't buy it whatsoever. Okay, so here we go. This is the book that I just showed you from my grandfather's collection. This is my personal book. I have this. This is a book from late 1800s, and it says "The World by the Fireside." Okay, well, let's see what we have in it. A bunch of natural stuff in it. You could look it up. I urge you to look this up. I had to look this up actually to get the copyright of it, because the copyright is not actually listed within the book itself. Okay, I looked it up, and here you go. Here's the copyright for you. Again, an old book of the natural world that shows bears, that shows fish, that shows trees, large trees actually. That's another video I want to do. It shows huge trees, like Avatar, as a natural thing that happens in the natural world. Look this book up and make your own discernment if you think it's fake or not. That's up to you. I'm showing you this. This is the inside inlay of that book. And I just showed you the copyright date. Now let's layer down some crazy synchronicity here. This book references the Patagons. Go figure. The land of the giants, Patagonia. You can pause that and read that. I'm going to show you all three portions of excerpt of text where they are referring to the Patagon in Patagonia, and there are pictures in this book. That was the first one. That's the second excerpt down here. Excerpt. He lives in a hut made of tent skin, so it's effectively similar to a native. But also keep in mind that this could be censored also. You know, at the time the narrative couldn't have been like, hey, we don't want people knowing about this, but let's just tell them that they're kind of indigenous people. Meanwhile, they may have been, or they may have been related race of the people who were building these massive Tartarian buildings and these huge stones, because you would have needed leverage. We wonder how they built these huge structures. I mean, if someone's 12 feet tall, you also get a lot of leverage from that. And this is the third of it. You can read all three of them. And I urge you to consider thinking differently about what we are told about being mythical race of people, when they're actually great explorers that are actually literally making accounts of them in their literature, in their text. we have to wake up to the possibility that this stuff is all real, guys. It's right here for you, plain sight. It can't be brushed off anymore. This is the aim of our website here at MeWe, and we really strongly urge people who are interested in this research to come here, please. Profile is required, but it's for a reason. It weeds out the trolls. And that was a quick Berserker Bear take on Patagon giants and how they are referenced in historical accounts by the great explorers. Go check this out. Highly recommend it. Okay. Berserker Bear will report back. Take care. God bless.